Testing, testing. It's taking a while this morning for all my cameras to turn on. Okay, good morning on YouTube. Hi. Okay, looks like we're on. Good morning on Instagram. Hello on Facebook. Looks like some people are finally on. It's awesome. Took a while this morning. I don't know if it was my internet connection or what, but I got 3 cameras. Let's see. Looks like everyone's on. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Kelly. Okay, we're good. Official start to the broadcast. Good morning, friends. I know, I'm a lot. If this is your first time watching and you're already like, whoa, I might not be your cup of tea. We're talking this morning. Every Monday morning I come to you with a live stream about motivation and achieving our goals. I like to break down success and motivation for the rest of us. I interview these massively successful people, and then I'm like, yeah, but how do I apply that for realsies in between, you know, just like doing so much laundry and so many dishes for just 3 people? Like, why am I constantly doing dishes? We have a problem. Good morning, Kimberly, Laura, so pumped. Awesome. Kelly, good to see you. Oh, everybody, hello on Instagram. Oh, you just got to see my house. Good morning, good morning. Okay, guys, so if you're new to these live streams, I always start with an inspirational story because news feeds be depressing, am I right? Like, just so much sadness and just bleh. Irene, love your red streak. Irene, it's hot pink. Slow your roll. But thank you. Okay, so guys, inspiring news story. Good morning, Lachelle. Hi, Mike. Our news story this morning, this past week, you guys, this UPS driver, how's the move going? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm about to move to a new house, and so I really am not, I should be packing a lot more than I am, but that's why I'm started to take apart this wall here because I got to pack it up and move it. Good morning, Nicole. Hi, Eric. Okay, so our inspiring news story is this past week, this UPS driver was out in sort of a rural area. Hi, Poppy. And he goes to deliver a package to one of his regulars. Hi, Deborah on YouTube. For those of you guys who didn't know, I have 3 cameras going: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So this UPS driver goes to one of his usual spots, you know, his usual customers. Because if you guys, first of all, if you're not living your Amazon Prime best life, you missing out. Because I see the same delivery guys, you know, we wave and I thank them for my package again today, just like yesterday and every single day it seems like. Especially now that we live in LA and we can do same day. Like, I can just go on there and click, let me see what's available today by the end of the day. It's bad. It's bad. I have a problem. But the point is, he goes to this guy's house in like a ruralish area, and he notices that the package that he left for this guy a few days ago was still there. And he was about to walk away, and then he was like, you know what? That is very unusual. And he starts pounding on the door, and this guy was like having a, like he was a medical condition, like he was having an attack. I forget if it was a heart attack or a stroke or what he had had. But anyways, this UPS driver ends up saving this guy's life. And y'all, first of all, what a great story. And second of all, we have 2 micro lessons here. The first is, are we paying attention? If he had been jamming out to his music, listening to his podcast, you know, thinking about what he was going to have for dinner. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Amanda. Thank you. If he had been really focused on himself and his habits and his routines and whatever was going on in his head, so caught up in our own thoughts, right? If he had been caught up in that, he would have missed that guy's package was still there from a few days ago, right? He would have missed it. So 1 micro lesson in this is, are we paying attention? And 2, trust your gut, which is what I want to talk to you guys about today. Trusting our instincts. We've been talking about going for our goals, setting goals, sticking with our goals. It's Valentine's Day week. If you have not watched my hilarious Valentine's video, especially y'all on Instagram who never leave Instagram to go outside and click to Facebook, it hurts me. It hurts my feelings. Go watch that Valentine's video and share it. It's so funny. I think it's one of the funniest I've ever done. People who are in my stage of life, like if you're in your 30s and you have kids, one of my friends was like, I literally laughed so hard I cried. Like, I had to pause it. So go watch that. But one of the things I was talking about in my weekly email that went out this morning was having some jealousy, if you will, for public power couples. Y'all with me? Like, we didn't used to be inundated with power couples in our news feeds, especially if you follow an author, and now she may or may not do morning live streams with her husband. You know what I'm talking about? And there's other people that we follow, and they have, like, their Instagram is filled with these great pictures of them and their husband. Or maybe it's not an influencer, maybe it's someone in your real life that, you know, before we would just see them like once a year at like the holiday party, and it would just be like, oh, that couple is the worst. And now they're like in our Facebook newsfeed all the time. Maybe they run a business together. Maybe they do an MLM together. Maybe they lost weight together, or they're working on this giant financial goal together, right? And it all looks so perfect. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today and how it regards to trusting your gut. I'll tell you in a second. But that I have done a video on this in the past, and I'll link it after this live stream, you guys. But I used to really have issue, like, why isn't my husband more, like, you will never, I mean, never say never, but never see my husband on a live stream with me. Sorry. Hope you weren't holding out for that, because it ain't happening. It is not happening. He would rather have his eyeballs pulled out than to be on a live stream with me. That is not his personality, and it used to bug me. He never read my book. He doesn't watch a lot of my videos unless I send him a link, and I'm like, you better watch this and share this, or else. Which he does. In fact, he only has a Facebook account because a few years ago I asked him to set one up because back then, you know, organic sharing, it's still important, but back then it was like I was just using my family and friends because I had like 1,000 fans, and I was like, will you create a Facebook page profile so you can help me? And that's the only reason he has. Jen says my husband either. Anybody else where, or maybe you're a man and your wife just does not get it, does not get your goals, you know, is not super into it with you. And I talked about this a little bit more in my email this morning, but the point I wanted to get at was to be grateful for the way that your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner does support you. Because my husband, y'all, is for years, you know, there have been periods where he is funding the whole operation, right? We're not going on trips, we're not buying new cars because we're putting all of our money into Kelsey's business. There are so many times where I ask him if he will take my daughter to go do something so I can finish editing a video. You know, I'm not a great housekeeper. Y'all shocked? You all know if you've been here a long time, I suck in the kitchen, I burn everything. Like, he never complains about these things, and he champions my strengths. And in return, I need to be grateful for the way that he does support me. So the only reason I bring that up in regards to trusting your gut is that, y'all, some of the people that we follow online and we're like, oh man, their marriage seems so perfect. And this has happened to all of us, has it not? Like, you think, oh, I wish we had a marriage like them, or I wish my boyfriend was more like them, or I wish my girlfriend was more like her. She seems so supportive. And then they get divorced, like suddenly, shockingly get divorced, right? This has happened so many times. And so I just wanted to encourage you to remember that, like, so much of if it helps that couple to seem perfect, to make more money for their brand, you know, to make more MLM orders, or to sell more books, or to get you to listen to their podcast, that couple is not going to show you that they're struggling, right? That couple is not going to openly share that they're having a hard time. And I'm not saying that they should. I'm just saying we have to remember, as we're looking online at what seems perfect, and this is not just marriage, right? This is everything. But since it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about it because I think a lot of people are not talking about this part of the influencer world we live in. Like, Amanda says, my husband has come a long way. Preach, girl. And part of that is communicating, which I talk about in my other video. Oh, I'm sorry that you missed some. But so what I talked about in the other video is more detail on this. But the point I wanted to make today is that not everything we see in this influencer culture, you know, people who we love following online, is for real, including marriages, including romantic relationships that seem perfect, right? I think I should do a whole quick pep talk about how fake people are online, because once you get, you know, I sit down with people, right, in person. Like, I've met people in real life. And I also have access where I can actually direct message people and email them, and they listen to me and take me seriously because of my show. And like, people be faking. People be faking, y'all. So that's a subject for another time. The point is trusting your gut, because there have been a lot of people that after the fact, I had a gut instinct about them and I was right. Also gut instinct with, I'm already married, Jamal. Also a gut instinct with just people that I felt like, I don't think that's for real, and they weren't. And then you guys, even just over the holidays, I had a gut feeling about whether or not to share what I was working on. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And a couple days later, I was so glad that I listened to my intuition. I recently did a celebrity interview. Hold on. Nicole says, I think that's one of the reasons I don't feel comfortable putting myself out there in social media, because I don't really know how to be fake. Well, don't be fake, right? I mean, you just have to share as much as you can that you feel comfortable sharing, that you feel will help people, will serve a purpose. But yeah, there are a lot of people who are faking it, you guys, and you have to learn to trust your gut about this, because the other thing that makes me mad, hi Kristen, the other thing that makes me mad, y'all on YouTube who are still with me, is that people are buying from these fraudulent personalities. They're like eating everything up that they're saying, and I'm like, oh, they're a liar, you know? And recently some of that stuff has started to come to light in my industry. But guys, I want to focus on ourselves. Like, I'm talking a lot about other people, which comparison is the beginning of the problem, right? Comparison is the beginning of the problem. Why are we comparing our relationship to other relationships? Why are we comparing our marriage that we've been together 20 years? Let's say you've been with your spouse 20 years, and you look at this couple and they've been together 2 years. Of course, they're still getting each other all the flowers and doing all the romantic things. Give them a few years. Am I right, ladies? Wait till they have some babies, okay? Like, come on. We cannot be comparing ourselves to these other relationships that we see online. And I felt like it was something in influencer culture that we haven't talked about enough. And as someone who is an influencer, you know, you guys have heard me talk about it a bunch of times. Like, I just had to communicate well and reframe how my husband was supporting me. But let's talk about ourselves, okay? And going after our own goals. So we've been on here almost every Monday this year talking about going for our goals that we set at the beginning of the year, going for what we want to do in January. And a huge part of that, you guys, is trusting our own instincts when maybe we feel like other people aren't supporting our goals, or when it's time to pivot on a goal that we made. Maybe the goal isn't working, or maybe the tactic to get that goal isn't working. And we have to be able to listen to our gut. I recently did a celebrity interview with Angela Johnson. She's a comedian. She was the comedian behind Bonquiqui and the nail salon joke that went viral years ago, like 10 years ago, where she did that nail salon joke from stand-up. And it was just hysterical. It was so spot on. The one where she's like, you don't have boyfriend? Remember that? So funny. So I recently did an interview with her. You guys, I don't post those on Facebook or Instagram because they're almost an hour long. But I do have an audio podcast, and they are, of course, y'all on YouTube know, they're all posted on YouTube. So this was a celebrity interview that I did with her recently. And this was a big thing she talked about in navigating her career in LA, making decisions, because she wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be an actress, and then all of a sudden, you know, this joke that she did at one of her very first stand-up gigs went viral. And that was like, okay, I guess I'm a comedian. And she had to learn to listen to her gut. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about how we do that. How do we tune in? Like, I am so often, weeks later, months later, sometimes years later, I am proven right if I trusted myself. Like, I'll go back and I'm like, that was right. I need to learn to listen to my gut. I need to learn to listen to my intuition more because I was right. Has that happened to any of you guys? Where you're like, oh my gosh, I was spot on. Hi, Suzanne in Barcelona. So we're talking about, for those of you who just joined on Instagram, as it pertains to going after our goals and, you know, trying to be our best selves, listening to our intuition. So I want you guys to tell me on any of the platforms that you're on, do you struggle with this? Like, maybe your intuition is off and you're somebody who gets duped a lot, which breaks my heart if that's you. Or maybe that you have trouble, like you can't, your gut's always going back and forth. I don't trust myself, but others listen to my advice and do well because of it. All right, why are you not listening to yourself? If other people are listening to you and succeeding, it means that you have some good instincts. Your intuition is doing some good. Why are you not listening to it for yourself? And the answer to that is self-love. And you're going to have to work through that. Why do you not love yourself as much as you love your bestie that you gave good advice to? Why do you not value yourself as much as you value your coworker who you helped get promoted or make more money or whatever because you let them listen to your gut? And that's a deep, difficult question. But that's what you've got to work through. It's why you're not valuing yourself. Okay, Facebook, y'all leave me a comment or it's frozen because it's not coming through. Ouch, that stung a little. Right, Nicole? Because we're giving everybody else our advice, especially if you're watching this and you're a blogger or an Instagram influencer, you know, you're a public speaker, you're trying to grow your brand, you're an author. A lot of you guys who follow me, you know, maybe you have your own podcast or you're, and we're giving away all of this advice to other people or all of our knowledge to other people, and we want other people to value us and follow us and blah, 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 and we don't value ourselves. Okay, so MJ Alfaro says, I am always doubting myself. And my answer or my question to you about doubting yourself is that maybe your gut, like if you are a person who shouldn't trust your instincts yet in certain areas. If we're a beginner at something, we're not going to have good instincts, right? I think my intuition is good. My problem is follow through. And that's what we talk about every Monday, right? You got to put a system in place. You got to hold yourself accountable. Hi, Christy. Kelly says, I'm working while I'm listening. Irene says, you're so right. Okay, so Facebook is not frozen. Y'all just not talking to me. Cool. So this is the crux of the matter that I have discovered with, and like talking to Angela Johnson in her interview, which you guys need to go watch if you haven't watched it, is that we cannot listen to our intuition and tune in and trust our gut if we don't get quiet. If we can't hear ourselves think, if we can't hear our own intuition, right? And like that's the other lesson that we had with the inspiring story this morning, was that if that guy had been totally consumed in listening to, you know, an audiobook or whatever, which is totally fine. And I mean, he's a UPS delivery man. I hope he listens to podcasts and I hope he finds a way to entertain himself. But here was a moment where it's a great example is if you're on autopilot, if you're constantly scrolling, I am bad with social media because it's part of my brand. You know, I post videos to the internet. That's part of my job. And so hi Amanda, I'm always online, and that is noise. I'm always letting in other people's opinions, other people's posts, other people's advice, other people's wins. Not very many people are sharing their losses on social media, right? So you're just looking at everybody else's celebrations and wins, and all of that is noise. Yes, Carolyn says, I've been hearing to be still. Exactly, Carolyn. How can we listen to our intuition and trust our gut and learn to develop that knowing of like, oh, that person's a fake, or this is not going to work out for me, or I need to change my goal. I made the wrong decision. How are we going to get to that point if we can't hear ourselves think? And for me, I'm a Christian, so it goes beyond just what do I know in my instincts. I believe you can develop discernment, you know, by praying about it. If you are watching this and you have trouble trusting yourself, you have trouble listening to your gut, you have trouble tuning into your intuition and making decisions and knowing what's right to do, you can pray about this. This is a muscle that can be strengthened. If you're watching this and you're 22, don't expect yourself to be perfect at listening to your gut, at making the right choices, at tuning into your intuition. Not that young people, hey, no hate, no shade. Okay, there are a lot of young people who are much wiser than older people, okay? I'm just saying this is a muscle that can be worked out. And as this pertains to going for our goals and dreams, guys, what if we're setting other people's goals for ourselves? Okay, that was big. Y'all listening, YouTube? What if we are setting other people's goals for us for ourselves? Because we're not listening to our intuition, we're not tuning into our gut. Like I think I told you guys, even at the beginning of the year, or maybe, no, you know what? It was December. And this is a very personal, very real, authentic example, okay, is that even in December, I was like, I'm going to get to the point where I'm posting 4 videos a week. You know, by February, I'm going to be posting 4 videos a week. Scary thought, exactly, heart to heart. And then I realized, no, ma'am. No, Kelsey. This is not the season for that. And I felt it and heard it clearly. This is not the season for you to be posting 4 videos a week. You cannot do it. You cannot do it and be a good wife and mom. You cannot do it and stay sane and healthy and happy. And also, I have other priorities, things that are shifting. All this stuff shifting internally in me, in my business, in my brand, and all the stuff that, like announcements that will be coming out later. That was a tease. That was a cruel tease for y'all. But the point is, that goal of 4 videos a week, you know what that is? That's expert advice. That's YouTubers whom I love and follow and who have given me good advice. That's people who I've interviewed that are like, you got to do quantity, right? Other people's goals that I was setting for myself. I currently have a client I was distancing from because my gut says it'll be too time consuming to work from them. They resurfaced and followed up. My gut is still correct. And that's a good point too. If you have a service business, if you take on clients, if you're a coach and you coach people, if you have an MLM and you bring people into your organization, good morning, Mackenzie. If you're bringing people into your organization underneath you, maybe you're a leader and you hire people in your company, or you have to train your staff and that sort of thing, you need to have your gut. You need to be able to tune in and check, am I bringing the right people in? Am I setting the right goals? Hi, Martina. Excuse me on the armpit shot, but I got a notification on my YouTube. Right, guys? What do you guys think? Carolyn says prayer works. Amen. And this is something we can pray about. Pray about, am I making the goals that are right for me for this year, or am I just filling this stuff out? Sometimes you have to say no to the algorithm feed monsters. No wonder YouTubers are burning out. Yes, I was totally burnt out. It's hard to listen to yourself and follow the path, but it's needed. Exactly. Like Jen was saying, like she almost took on this client that would have been totally soul-sucking. But what if everyone around her was like, you need the money, take on that client. You need to grow your brand. You need more, right? And for some of you, more is the answer. Some of y'all been slacking. Some of y'all need to get more aggressive with your goals. Some of y'all, the people in your life are not supportive and they're like, don't set that goal. Don't try to, where have you been? Long time no see. Y'all, I've been here. I come on at least once a week. Just social media is just changing. That's why you got to get my emails. It's okay to stop if you're not feeling it. Firing my first client a few weeks ago, they were draining us. The money will come back from the right clients. Exactly. It is so important in a service-based business to be able to judge if it's worth it to take on someone like that, a client like that that's going to drain you. And so the other side of that is like, you know, you've got to, if you're somebody who's been slacking and other people around you are like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do it, you'll be disappointed again. You guys know I've been on this weight loss journey and I've shared that with people. It's like the easiest system I've ever found for losing weight. I fell off the wagon a little bit in the holidays, to be totally honest. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to admit that, but I did. And now I'm back on and things are much better. But I had someone whose husband told them, you should not sign up for that or try it because you will just fail again. I would tell her to cut that person out of her life, but it was her husband. Like, excuse me? Oh my goodness. And so those are the kinds of people there, and that's someone she loves and trusts who told her that. In which point, I hope that, and she did sign up and everything, so she listened to her own intuition on what she needed. But beyond just your own intuition is that, you know, listening, finding a way to tune into God. Angela Johnson was talking about, you know, all the different options, whether it's journaling, which I started doing this year. You guys know I'm obsessed with my bullet journal. Journaling, prayer, obviously, reading the word, or personal growth, personal development books. I have family members who do not support me. Yeah, so I'm so sorry if you're one of those people who have family members who are not supportive and you love them and trust them and they're like, don't do it. Don't try it, right? So these tactics are what's going to help. Journaling, praying, meditation, and meditation can look different for different people. like take 24 hours where you literally turn off your phone or go on airplane mode every evening for 5 days. And don't look at social media and don't bring things in and don't read news articles and all those things. And instead, like, do some self-reflection. Instead, do some asking yourself questions. Maybe you find a few podcasts. Ollie says, can you share about your upcoming 2019 interviews? Well, I can't exactly share yet, but I'm very close to partnering up with an event. And at that event, the names of people that I will get to interview is insane. But that hasn't been sealed the deal yet. But there are more celebrity interviews coming soon. I actually have an interview coming out next week on YouTube with Kelsey Knight, who is, she's on Entertainment Tonight, but she started as a dancer, like a rockette. And now she has a successful podcast, and she has a whole brand that she built with two of her co-founders. And so it was an interesting interview about changing your course. Again, listening to your intuition. She knew she couldn't be a dancer forever, and she started listening to her gut, which is what we're talking about today. They don't want to, I know exactly, Melinda, you got to guard yourself. So guys, I just wanted to come on and talk about this because it was recently something we talked about with Angela Johnson interview. Go watch that. I'll put this in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. Instagram, it's linked in my bio. And I also, I saw that inspiring story that we talked about at the beginning. So that's another thing that we talked about, trusting your gut. So if you got my email this morning, everybody listening, if you got my email this morning, you got a link to this. If you didn't, I will post it now. But you guys, most of the time when I do public speaking, it's for a private group. So like I'll post it on Facebook, but there's no link to get tickets, or I'll post it on my website, but you can't go because it's a group of, you know, people in sales, or it's a company and they brought me in to do an internal speaking gig. But at the end of May, I am doing a public gig, which means you can buy tickets. And the event is called Confidence Activated. It's by Rachel Luna. She is an amazing entrepreneur, podcaster, author. She helps women with their confidence. Obviously, that's the whole idea of this event, which I love, because if you guys a lot of you guys who follow me just want to, you know, crush your goals. You want to become your best self, but you're not necessarily an entrepreneur. And this is not an entrepreneur's only event. It's called Confidence Activated, and it's about redefining who you are, redefining your goals, finding yourself again, and figuring out how to be your best, most confident self the remainder of the year. So I'm going to post that event with tickets. If you got my email this morning, there was a link in there. I would love for you to use my link so I can know my peeps are coming. There will be a meetup, I'm sure, to meet you guys in person. Obviously, I'll be there. We can chat and hang out. But this is very rare that I get to invite people to come to one of my speaking gigs. So I'm so excited that you guys can come. So I'm going to post that link after this. And I think that's it, you guys. Is there anything else we need to talk about when it comes to listening to your gut? The key to strengthening the muscle. Oh, good question. Where is it located? It's in Atlanta, which is super accessible for everybody. Almost anywhere in the world, you can do a direct flight to Atlanta. Hi, Rachel, which is amazing, right? And Atlanta is huge. There's so much to see and do, but it's also affordable. The hotels are affordable. The flights in and out are affordable because it's a big hub. So that's in Atlanta. The last weekend in May, I'm going to post tickets on the description of this video, and it is linked on Instagram. If you're on Instagram right now and you want to know about the event, it's in my profile. You can go to my bio, scroll down, it's one of the buttons. So guys, you got to listen to your intuition. Wake up that's a great point Irene makes about if we want to get better about listening to our intuition, it starts at the beginning of the day. A lot of us start our day by, myself included, I try to start my very beginning of the day that I don't let myself open any other apps until I've opened the Bible app, but most days I fail. And I open whatever notification popped up instead. I just had a situation where I listened to my gut and I feel so much freedom because I listened to myself. Exactly, right? No, and then once we start to tune into ourselves and can trust ourselves, there's a lot less stress and anxiety about making decisions because we can get quiet and tune in, and then it's like, I know what to do. So that's all I wanted to chat about today, guys. fabulous email this morning. Thank you, Catherine. Someone on YouTube was like, Kelsey, where you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm here. I'm here every week, which is why you got to sign up for my emails, because email is the only thing that's consistent, whereas Facebook, sometimes they show me to you, sometimes they don't. Instagram, if I don't post regularly, you don't see me. Same with YouTube. So guys, today, shared and received your newsletter this morning. Carla, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. So guys, I'm going to share all those links we just talked about in the description on Facebook and YouTube. If you're on Instagram, you can go in my bio. Thank you for this video. You're welcome. Guys, find a way this week to learn to listen to yourself, which means getting quiet. Oh yeah, turn on notifications for me is another way to not miss. And guys, please, if you love me, go share that Valentine's Day videos, because there's only a few more days where it's relevant. And I think it's really funny, and I want people to watch it. So go share it for me, especially y'all on Facebook. I think that's it. I love you guys. I am here for you every Monday morning. A lot of exciting things are coming, announcements coming just like this, where I'm speaking at a public event. You guys can actually come and meet me and hang out with me in person. Those kinds of things, a lot of announcements coming over the next few months. And so make sure you're getting my emails and tuning in and blah, blah, blah. Because I just want to help you to get laughing and get moving towards your goals, right? All right, guys, have a good week. If you come back and you have a question or comment about listening to your gut later, go ahead and leave me a message. I'll come back and answer everybody. And we're going to have an awesome week. Okay, bye, guys. Now you get to watch me awkwardly end all of these in live video. Share. Okay, bye, Facebook. Y'all are the best.